Nuclear Matters?
Well, Nuclear Matters is a group of folks who came together. Evan Bayh, the former governor and senator from Indiana, and I are the co-chair, but it involves a lot of people from different persuasions. Carol Browner, former head of the EPA, Spence Abrahams, the former Secretary of Energy. And our basic goal is to educate the American public about the importance of the existing nuclear power plants. Existing nuclear power plants represent about 20% of America's energy. They represent about 63% of the non-carbon emitting energy that we produce as a nation. But unfortunately, about 20 of our nuclear power plants out of our 100 are risking premature closure. In other words, they're going to be closed before their useful life is up. That would be a mistake. In our opinion, it would undermine our ability to produce non-carbon emitting power, and it would undermine our diversity of power mix and our reliable power mix. And so we're talking and trying to convince folks and talk to folks across the country about the importance of these power plants and keeping them online as long as their useful life is still available.
And what kind of support are you receiving for your mission?
Well, you know, it's interesting. When a person walks into their home, they turn on the light switch, they don't care where the power comes from. They just want the lights to go on. So they don't think about this. So what we're trying to do is get people to think about it, because if they go in there, if these power plants go offline, when they go in their home and turn on the lights might not come on. More importantly, we'll be replacing the nuclear power, which is non-carbon emitting, with carbon emitting power, which makes no sense considering our global environment issues. So we're going out and we're talking to a lot of folks. When we explain the story, we get a very good reception. But I do have to admit that most folks haven't thought about it, and that's why we've gotten together to get people to think about it.
And what can people do about it? How can they support Nuclear Matters?
Well, basically what we're trying to do is, again, get the public opinion level up so people understand the importance of these facilities that are functioning, that are going to be closed before their useful life is over. And thus when the debate occurs in the political arena, which is at the state legislature and to some degree in Washington, but mostly at the state legislature, there'll be a sensitivity that amongst legislators that this is important to their constituents, that this is an issue that the constituents understand or at least are aware of and would like some constructive action on.
And what are some solutions that you'd like to see?
Well, we're not proposing specific solutions, but the issue comes down to this. Nuclear power is given no credit for the fact that it's not carbon emitting. It's given no credit for its reliability. For example, the last polar vortex, it was nuclear power which runs 24/7, 90% reliability that got us through that. All the other power sources went offline for some time at some point. It gets no credit for its diversity. In other words, if you take nuclear power out of the mix and you go entirely to gas, you're putting all your eggs in one basket. Big mistake from a strategic and, I think, a logical standpoint. And as a practical matter, it gets no credit for the fact that it can produce a lot of excess power during down periods, but that power can't be transmitted because the transmission lines are very aging. So what we'd like to see are those four types of issues addressed by public policy people across the country.
As Bloomberg New Energy Finance, what are some takeaways?
Wow, it's a really big event, and it's on focus. In other words, it's really on an issue that is very important to our nation, which is how we deal with this new energy paradigm. I mean, we're going through just one of the biggest transitions in our industrial and commercial activities as a nation, and in the fact that we're going to different energy sources, we're going to have a surplus of energy in many areas, and how we handle this is very important to the future of our nation. And nuclear power needs to be considered as part of that mix because nuclear power is 20% of our energy supply.
And tell me some takeaways from the panel that you were on this morning.
Well, it was an interesting panel. They're very substantive folks. They understood the issues in considerable depth. Very, very substantive folks. I think the issues, my takeaway was that everything is still fluid. That we're working off an ad hoc approach to energy and this new energy paradigm, and there really hasn't been a settling out of specific proposals that you could coalesce a working majority around, either in the public's arena, in public mindset, or in the political arena.